Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. We're now powered by lineups.com. And I'm your host, Nate Weitzer, flying solo one more time. I believe Josh will be back for a game 7. Should his Knicks force that, we'll have a video up for you on Monday to break that down. Otherwise, we'll be continuing on with the NBA Finals next Thursday. And I guarantee you, my buddy will be back from paternity leave in time for the finals. We got game 6 picks here, though. Knicks at Pacers. We got 2 game picks, 2 player props per usual, and then a little bit of a look at the NBA Finals. Should we be breaking that down if the Pacers are able to advance here? But first, we got to look back at Game 5 for a minute and just give the Knicks their flowers for coming out strong on their home court. I was on the wrong side of that one, and my apologies for thinking the Pacers were going to be mature and strong enough to close that out at the Garden. It was clear pretty much from the jump that the Knicks were not going out like suckers, Brunson leading the way. And will they be able to maintain that energy at Indy? We'll see, but I do trust them to be able to score. An over 52.5 in the second half is a very low total for me, and it's good odds on the over. The Knicks, I mean, this is mispriced. It's 3 points lower than their first half total. And to me, it's mispriced because the Knicks are going to get to the free throw line more often in the third and fourth quarters. When you depend on Jalen Brunson and his ability to create those free throws, and Cat seemed to unlock the fact that he's bigger than all the Pacers and could get to the line that way. So, I mean, that's something to lean on. If you look at the Eastern Conference versus Western Conference Finals, the free throw rate for both teams is 2 times that of what the Thunder and Wolves were getting. And the Pacers for the playoffs are allowing the highest free throw rate to every opponent in the second half. They're also allowing 57 a game in the second half, 59 a game at home. That 57 a game is the highest besides any team that wasn't swept out of the playoffs in Miami and Memphis. So Indy is not winning many games with defense. They are scoring. That's why I would look at for a game-long bet here, both teams over 107.5 is plus 150. The Knicks team total is 107. Pacers are 111. I think the Knicks can get their team total, and therefore, why not take the Pacers offense to bounce back as well? But as far as them allowing points, they've allowed 54 plus in 13 of their 15 second halves in these playoffs. And a lot of that is the free throw rate, etc. They don't have that many answers for the Knicks if Aaron Nesmith is not going to be able to play a full slate. I mean, 16 minutes last game. Was that because he was limited by the ankle? He was kind of grabbing at it a little bit towards the end, or were they saving him for this one? If he's not out there to guard Brunson, like, it's a completely different ball game for the Knicks offense, as we saw 33 in 32 minutes for Brunson. And of course, Cat went off as well. That negated a really bad shooting luck game for the Knicks. 8 for 29 from 3, 2 for 13 on wide open threes. That kind of thing is not going to continue that much. And it's because those two guys, Brunson and Cat, shot 61% on twos. Team got 60 paint points. That type of thing is sustainable. And in the second half in the series, they're not even shooting very well from the outside. So you're not like leaning on that much. They're getting 18.8 free throw attempts per game. So that's exactly what I'm talking about here. I would also consider adding this team total with Cat to score 20, which he did in every game, including the one where he had horrible foul trouble and believe only was able to play 28 minutes. So yeah, if we like points though, I do think that there's a correlation between the Pacers pulling out the win and this game going over. And that's 2-1 on your money. It's worth a shot for the correlation. I mean, Pacers back home here. There were indications that Rick Carlisle was kind of like slow playing that game and being like, we're not going to play Nesmith much. Like I said, we're going to experiment with some guys, throw Jarris Walker out there, Halliburton sleepwalking. Like, the Pacers just did not have it early, and the Knicks were the aggressors. Again, credit to them. But now back home, Pacers are 4-2 to the over at home since their game 1 against the Bucks to start these playoffs. That exactly correlates with 4-2 straight up. So every over, they've won. Every under, they've lost. And since that game 1 against the Bucks, where the Bucks only scored 98, because they got 2 literal zeros in their starting lineup, and Giannis was just out there on an island by himself. So not the same situation. If you go home or away, they're 9-3 straight up and 7-5 to the over. But the 2 ones that did not correlate averaged 220. One of those was closing out an injured Cleveland squad that couldn't really score much and only got 20 points in the third quarter. I just talked about Brunson and maintaining that Knicks offense. So I don't think the Knicks are going to struggle to hold up their end of the bargain down the stretch. But, will the Pacers offense bounce back a little bit if they extend that pressure the Knicks in the same way? I mean, Halliburton he said he'll have a better game. He should be more aggressive. That's the key, right? I mean, he's sitting at 5 field goal attempts down the stretch. And that was the story last year when these teams met in the playoffs, is Halliburton not being aggressive enough, not opening things up. And then he switched that up and everything changed from there. So, I mean, we look at down the stretch of the series last year in game 6 in the spot might seem tight because it was 116-103. That game was an 86 pace. I cannot underestimate how much slower that is than how the Pacers usually play. These last two in the series have averaged 100.6 in terms of pace. And like I said, the Knicks struggled to hit open shots. The Pacers struggled to hit open shots early in that game 5. Did not have much juice on the road. I definitely expect their shot making to improve at home, where they've just been much better scoring wise. And yeah, the correlation is so strong that it's just worth 2-1 on your money. If you think the Pacers pull out this game, it's hard to imagine them doing it in the kind of 106-100 slugfest we did see in game 3, which again, I'm saying is the outlier of the series. Generally, we're going to see a Pacers have more success if this total is up around 220 plus, which by the way is where it opened. And now you're getting a little bit of value at 218.5 as people bet that trend of late series going closer to under. Player props time. We got Pascal over 23.5 points and assists. He's really the answer to this extended pressure on Halliburton. And I didn't quite pull the trigger on it in game 2 after seeing how the Knicks defended Halliburton in game 1. I saw a little bit of that down the stretch of like, okay, we got to play more through Siakam and get those like 4-on-3 opportunities, get him the ball at the extended free throw line and have him make some plays. And then, of course, game 2, Siakam, the best playoff game of his career, 39. He's kind of been on some every other since then, 17, 39, 17, 30, 15 last game. He missed 4 free throws. He went 4 of 8 at the line, so would have gotten to the points basically on that. The refs probably also missed 2 or 3 foul calls that they were just not giving the Pacers early on. Say what you will about them extending series or being swayed by the home crowd. And now we're back in Indy. And look, after Halliburton got more aggressive in that series last year against the Knicks, like I said, big game 2. And then the last 5 after that, where the Knicks are like, okay, we got to extend on Halliburton. He's being aggressive. We're trying to take him out, which is what they did last game. Siakam averaged 21.5 on 57% field goal, 28% usage. Big spike for a guy who's usually just a cog in the wheel. That is this Pacers offense. So if you even extend that to per 36, he's at 25 points per 36 in those last 5, because there were a couple blowouts where he didn't even have to play the full slate. So I think, you look at the usage increase, you look at him as second on the team in terms of playmaking data, even though that's way lower in terms of assists versus Halliburton, still at 3.6 assists for the series, adjusted assists at 4. So I think tacking on the 3 assists to his points, which is about 20, is a safer way to play it for a little better odds. And you can think about laddering this up a little bit to see if he can go for about 30 again, because as much as he can't really guard Towns, like the Knicks don't have a great answer for him. And he was just missing some bunnies in game 5 and clearly frustrated. I think he comes back strong here. Mikal Bridges is where I'm going to go for the under. 7.5 RA. Originally thought about adding the points. You'd be at 22.5 PRA, but the usage rate kind of scared me. The last 2 games, he's been pretty much equal or second on the Knicks in field goal attempts. And he's just trying to get to his pet spots. The Pacers might be able to key in on that and keep him out of those, that free throw line extended area, which is basically how he gets all his points. He's not shooting well from 3 in the playoffs. He's only 25% on catch and shoots in this series, and he's a minus 20 in this series. But as far as the rebounds and assists, he was very lucky on the assists last game. He had 5 dimes on 6 potentials. And for the last 3 in this series, 2.7 dimes on 3.7 potentials. Again, pretty good, running pretty hot there, but he still only had 2.7 rebounds and 2.7 assists in the last 3, is he's playing 10 minutes per game fewer than he was in the first 2 in the series, as Thibodeau has been like, maybe I can trust these guys a little bit off the bench. Shamet, McBride, and DeLon Wright are actually playing pretty well and giving the starters a little bit of a spell, and keeping Mikal fresh so that he can extend this pressure on Halliburton at the point of attack, which is going to really hurt his rebounding opportunities. If he's out 35 feet from the basket chasing Halliburton, the rebound chances are going to be down. And that's why we saw only 5 rebound chances in game 5, excuse me. And he's only averaged 5 rebound chances in the last 3, which is 6th among the Knicks, as he's kind of done that more often, and only playing 35 minutes, like I said, versus 45 to start the series, where he had 10 RA in those 2 to start the series. So, I mean, as far as assists, this offense is running through Brunson and Cat. Mikal and OG are the playmakers on the wings. And they're going to have to get assists off secondary action. And the Pacers have been pretty good limiting assists all season. I expect them to bounce back a little bit in that regard. I think the safest way to play this is just the RA, and then you don't have to worry about jump shot variance with Mikal, but wouldn't hate you for fading the whole bundle here. So, I mean, let's get into a little bit of a finals look in case this is our last show before the finals begin June 5th. If it's OKC Indy, you got to take the Thunder at -2.5 for the series. Thought about going Thunder exact in 5, which is +205, but I worry that they could sweep this Pacers team. It just doesn't really seem like the Pacers chaos-oriented style is going to thrive against this Thunder defense. Like, I mean, they're too loose with the ball. They're not physical enough at the point of attack. Like, if Halliburton is struggling against Mikal Bridges in this extended pressure that they've thrown at him in game 5, like, imagine what he's going to do against the Thunder. If Siakam has to be your outlet, now he has to go up against the J-Dub, Dort, Alex Caruso combination. That's going to be trouble. And then on the other end, SGA dropped 45 on Indy when Nesmith was missing this season. He dropped 33 when Nesmith was in there. So he's averaging 39 on a 154 offensive rating in 2 Thunder wins over the Pacers this year. If Nesmith's not healthy, that is a big, big problem. 45 points on 15 for 22 shooting with no Nesmith out there to guard him. Nembhard is not a matchup for SGA, and Halliburton only averaged 11 points per game in those 2 losses, -32. I mean, we're not going to read that much into a regular season sample size of 2. But I think that the Thunder are just vastly superior on the defensive side of the ball there. I don't know if they can pull off the sweep if they're quite mature enough for that, but I think it's worth the look here, and we'll see if the odds shift based on how this game 6 shakes out here with the Pacers and the Knicks. But look, if we have a game 7, we'll be back for that. It will be on Monday. And then the final start on Thursday. That's all the time we have for you in this one. Please like and subscribe to the page. We'll be following along through the rest of the regular season and a little NBA draft action as well. I'll have Josh back with me next week. And until we see you next, happy betting.